Well, thank you both for being here and for your service to the country. General Lyons, I want to follow up on some of the concerns that have been raised by Senator Reid and Fisher about the phasing out of our KC-135s and when the KC-46s are going to arrive. It's my understanding that in New Hampshire, where we have the 157th Air Refueling Wing, that there will be a period of months between the time the 135 is phased out and the 46 is delivered, given that it's already behind schedule. Can you comment on what we should assume will happen during those months when there's no refueling capacity, and whether the intent will be to try and keep the 135s around longer until the delivery of the 46s?
Ma'am, from my perspective, that's the key issue, is to maintain operational capability throughout the conversion. And the Air Force is working that very issue. In fact, they're working currently to delay the divestiture of a select number of KC-135s so that we don't have this exorbitant dip in capability over time. And so the service is working that, ma'am.
And should we assume that that's going to happen? I mean, I appreciate that the service is working it, but does that mean that we are going to see that extension happen?
Senator, it's been my request. It's been well received by both the air component and the chief. Obviously, it's going to cost some money, and when the money is put into the program, that's when we'll know. But the intent is to retain 28 weapon systems beyond their currently scheduled retirement. Thank you.
And in terms of Boeing's delivery of the 46s, I know that they have accepted or made a commitment to address some of the concerns that have been expressed about the tankers. Do we know whether that's going to speed up the further delivery, or should we assume that we're going to see further delays?
Ma'am, the decision to deliver, I think, was a good one. Right now, we're on a pause, as you may know, based on some Boeing issues with foreign object. I don't have a sense until that's cleared up for the impact on the program, but I'll talk to the Air Force about that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm sure that all of us hope that Boeing will do everything they can to make sure that those deliveries are done to address the concerns that have been raised. Yes, General Scaparrotti, you mentioned in your testimony the concern about Turkey acquiring the S-400 at the same time they're supposed to take delivery of the F-35s. And I know that there has been an effort underway to try and encourage Turkey to look at other alternatives, and that there was an offer made early in January for the sale of the Patriot system. They have until the end of March, it's my understanding, to decide whether they're going to take delivery of that or not. But the question I have is, if Turkey moves forward with the agreement with Russia on the S-400, do we assume that they should receive delivery of the F-35s, and what does that do to their accessing that technology?
Senator, I would say, first of all, if they accept the S-400 and to establish it within Turkey, there's first of all an issue of that it's not interoperable with NATO systems, nor is it interoperable inside of our integrated air missile defense system. So that presents one problem. The second has to do with the F-35. It presents a problem to all of our aircraft, but specifically the F-35, I believe. And my best military advice would be that we don't then follow through with the F-35, flying it, or working with an ally that's working with Russian systems, particularly air defense systems, with one of our, what I would say is probably one of our most advanced technological capabilities.
I'm pleased to hear you say that. The question I guess I have is, I understand that some of the parts for the F-35 are being made in Turkey, and what happens to that assembly, and who picks up that slack if Turkey can't receive the F-35?
Well, that's one of the issues that's being considered and will be considered, I'm sure, as you know. But for them, I would just underscore the fact that This is a huge decision for Turkey, and we've continuously, I've talked to them personally, as all of our leadership has. It connects in many different ways to the employment and the integration that they have within the system itself, the F-35, but also to FMS and other systems that we sell to Turkey as well. And so I would hope that they would reconsider this one decision on S-400, one system, but potentially forfeit many of the other systems and one of the most important systems that we can provide them.
Well, thank you. I share that view. I think Turkey is an important ally, but it's one that we hope to be able to depend on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.